You ever notice how some people just walk into a room and they have it? They just command attention without even trying. When they speak, people actually listen. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not luck. And it's definitely not something they were born with. It's confidence. And the best part? It's a skill you can build, starting right now. So let's kick things off by figuring out exactly where you're starting from with a quick diagnosis. All right, first things first, we need to figure out your starting point. This is just a quick check-in on your current confidence level, so don't overthink it, okay? Just go with your gut. The rules here are super simple. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Just answer yes or no to each one. Every time you say yes, give yourself 1 point. Just keep a quick mental tally. And remember, this isn't about getting a good or bad score. It's just about seeing where we have the biggest opportunities to grow. Ready? Let's do this.
First up, picture yourself in a group setting, like a meeting at work or just hanging out with friends. Do you find yourself holding back? Maybe you overthink what you're going to say so much that the moment just passes you by? Yes or no?
Okay, next question. When you make a decision, could be anything, a project at work or even just where to grab lunch. Do you feel like you have to launch into this long explanation to justify it, even when no one is asking you to? Give yourself a quick yes or no. All right, on to number 3. Someone tells you, hey, that was an amazing presentation. What's your gut reaction? Is it thank you? Or is it more like, oh, it was nothing. You did all the real work? Be honest with yourself on this one. Question 4 for you. Has there ever been something new you wanted to try? A new hobby, taking a class, maybe even just posting something you created online? But you stopped yourself because you were worried about what other people might think. Yes or no? And here's the last one. Do you find yourself constantly checking for likes or always asking for other people's opinions, really needing someone else to say, that's a good idea before you can feel good about your own choices? Okay, that's it. Tally up your points. Let's see what it all means. So what's the verdict? If you scored 0 or 1, you're what we call a silent rock. You've got a really solid foundation of confidence. You just need the right strategy to really let it out. If you landed at 2 or 3 points, you're a shaky climber. You are so full of potential, you just need a few new tools for the climb. And hey, if you scored a 4 or 5, that's actually fantastic news. It just means you've found the perfect place to start, and this framework is going to be an absolute game changer for you. So why is this so critical? A lot of people think confidence is just a feeling, something that comes and goes. But it is so much more than that. It's the actual structure that lets you act on your biggest ambitions. Here's a really powerful way to look at it. Think of confidence as a bridge. Over on one side, you've got a thought, just an idea, like, I want to be a creator. And way over on the other side is a deep, unshakable belief. I can be a creator. Confidence is the bridge that gets you from here to there. Without that bridge, all your best ideas just stay ideas. And this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. This has a massive real-world impact. Research has shown that a staggering 85% of your financial success comes down to your confidence in your ability to communicate. Only 15% is based on your technical skills. So that bridge, it's not a luxury. It's absolutely essential to get where you want to go. Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? Well, we're going to use a proven 5-step framework called BRAVE. This is your practical toolkit, the blueprints you need to build that unshakable confidence piece by piece. It's a really simple acronym to remember, BRAVE. It all starts with breaking the fear. Then we rise through reps, align with our identity, voice our truth, and finally execute with energy. So let's break down each one. First up, B is for break the fear. Think about taking a cold shower in the middle of winter. What's the worst part? It's those few seconds before you get in, right? You stand there, you overthink it, you hesitate, but the second that cold water hits you, your body just adapts. Confidence is exactly the same. It's built by taking action when you're scared, not by sitting around waiting for the fear to magically disappear. But facing that fear just once isn't going to cut it. And that's where rise through reps comes into play. I love this quote, "You're not underconfident, you're just undertrained." It really says it all. Confidence is a muscle. You have to train it. There's this great story about a judo student who was super shy, the weakest one in his class for a whole year. But the very next year, he became team captain. Why? Because he was the most consistent. He just kept showing up and putting in the reps. But even putting in the reps isn't enough if, deep down, you don't believe you're the kind of person who can be confident. This brings us to A for align with identity. See, you can put on a mask and fake it till you make it, but that kind of confidence is fragile. The second that mask slips, it all falls apart. Real confidence comes from the mirror, from building on who you truly are. It's why legends like Muhammad Ali would constantly say, "I am the greatest." He wasn't just bragging, he was programming his identity.
Next up, we have V for voice your truth. We scroll online and we see all this so-called perfection, but a lot of the time, that's just hiding deep insecurity. Real confidence, real connection comes from authenticity. The researcher Brené Brown proved that being vulnerable isn't a weakness. It's actually the birthplace of courage and creativity. People connect with what's real. So confidence isn't about saying I'm perfect. It's about having the guts to say, I'll show up anyway.
And that brings us to the final letter, E, for execute with energy. Now, this might be the most powerful and immediate tool of the entire framework. It's based on this wild idea. Your physiology, the way you hold and use your body, can actually change your psychology. Your body can literally lead your mind to feel more confident.
And that leads us perfectly into our final and maybe most actionable takeaway today. If you want to feel more confident right now, in this very second, you don't start with your thoughts. You start with your body.
Just think about it for a second. When you feel unsure or nervous, what does your body do automatically? You kind of slump, right? Your shoulders roll forward, you might cross your arms. You're physically making yourself smaller. But when you stand tall, chest open, arms relaxed, chin up, you are sending the complete opposite signal to your brain. You're telling it, I'm strong, I'm capable. This isn't just a theory. It's a real thing called embodied cognition.
And get this, there is hard science that backs this up. Research from Harvard's social psychologist Amy Cuddy discovered that just holding a power pose for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, creates real, measurable changes in your body's chemistry. It causes a spike in testosterone, which is linked to confidence, and a drop in cortisol, the stress hormone. 2 minutes can literally rewire you for confidence.
In fact, let's not just talk about it, let's do it. Right now, wherever you are. Just sit or stand up a little bit straighter. Pull your shoulders back and down. Open up your chest. Now take a deep breath in and let it out. Just hold that for a second. Can you feel that? That subtle shift? You are physically instructing your brain to be more confident.
So please, remember this. Confidence lives in your posture before it ever lives in your words. Always start there.
So we're not going to end with a simple summary. We're going to end with a challenge. You now have the BRAVE framework, and you know the very first step is to break the fear. So my question for you is this. What is the one small, slightly scary thing you are going to do today to start building your bridge?